What is up, guys? James Carter TV back finally for another video. I know it's been a while. I made like a WrestleMania review, but a lot of you people did watch or care about that. It's been a while since I made a NFL video, but here I am to make that. So real quick before I begin this video, the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL right now as of April 2016. Let me make a couple programming notes. Number one, I said I was going to make scouting reports, more scouting reports. I lied. Basically, here's the deal. For those of you who don't know, because I gain subscribers every day, thank you for that. I currently go to Vanderbilt, and sometimes things get really hard, and sometimes I don't have time for scouting reports. The thing is with scouting reports, or the way I like to do them, is I really like to research and go deep and find out as much information as I can about these prospects. This is something that is very time strenuous sometimes, so the scouting reports, they're pretty much over. I got through about, I think, 18 of them. I'm fine with that. I was never going to go into round 2, 3, 4 prospects. I was never going to do that. My hope was to get maybe 25, 50. I got 18. That's fine this year. Maybe next year I'll be able to do better, but I think that's just about it. But I will not, I have a plan moving forward, and it is this. We're going to start the Q&As again. The Q&As on James Carter TV will be starting again, the question and answer sessions. Now, the way this is going to work this time, because usually I have you guys comment on my Q&A videos, and then that'll be the Q&A comments for the next video. The way I'm going to do it now, go to my channel. Now, I'm going to have the link in the description box down below. Go to my channel, go to the About section, and I believe in the top right-ish of the page, you'll see Send Message. Click Send Message. You'll send me a private message of the Q&A questions, and I will answer the ones that I can. Because now that this fan base has grown, I mean, we had 2,000 subscribers about 6 months ago. Now we have way more than that. It may be impossible for me now to answer every question. So I think this is the way to do it moving forward. So go to my channel, go to the About section. In the upper right-ish, you have Send Message. Click that, send me a message. And with that said, also, I might start doing more news type videos, kind of like First Take does. I mean, I'm not copying First Take, but in terms of, okay, this is a sports headline. All right, what's going on? Read an article. This is what's going on. Here are my thoughts. I think that's, it doesn't take much time. You guys enjoy it a lot because a lot of you watch First Take, blah, blah, blah. So I think that's something that I may start doing. So look out for that. But then after the draft, specifically after finals end here, I will have a summer job, but it won't take up much time, and I will be making videos, so many videos you'll get sick of me, because for each and every team after the draft, I will be uploading a recap for each and every team after the draft over a 2-week period. I mean, 2 teams per day for 16 days after the NFL draft, so look out for that. Now, with that said, let's get to what you came here for, and that is the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL in 2016. Now, let me give you my philosophy before I give you my top 10, because the philosophy is key. You will disagree with what a lot I have to say today, but as long as you understand my philosophy, then I'm fine with that. I am not only looking at 2015 NFL season. I don't think you can do that. First of all, the 2015 NFL season, as far as quarterbacks were concerned, or maybe just as a whole, was just kind of weird, kind of bad. I mean, the quarterback play was not very impressive at all in 2015. I mean, I think maybe it was Cam Newton or Carson Palmer that led the NFL with touchdowns with 36. I mean, that's pretty low. Bortles had 35. A lot of guys had like 35, 36. No one had 40s. No one really was that good. Like the highest quarterback rating this year was maybe like 105 or something like that. I mean, it was a really weird and bad year for quarterbacks, and a really bad year for the NFL. So I'm not just looking at 2015. I am taking into much consideration, but you have to look at the body of work of each and every single one of these quarterbacks when constructing a top 10 quarterback list. So with that said, before I get to the top 10, let me give you honorable mentions. Okay, these guys did not make the list, but I thought about them, and I'll tell you why I eliminated each and every single one of these guys. Number 1, Eli Manning. Yes, this guy could be a top 10 quarterback, but when you consider the fact that he could have the greatest wide receiver in the NFL right now, and before he had this receiver, he's just kind of okay. I'm not good enough. I mean, I can't definitively say, yes, Eli Manning's a top 10 quarterback. I just can't do it. Andrew Luck, he was horrible in 2015. Yeah, he was banged banged up. Everybody's banged up. He was horrible. I mean, if you would have talked to me last year, he would have been on my top 10 list. He's not now. This is a fluid list that changes year to year. He was too bad. 15 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, fumbles, horrible quarterback rating. You can't get away with it. He falls out of the top 10. Joe Flacco, not a top 10 quarterback to me. Now, if he's my quarterback, I feel comfortable. But we're going to need a great defense. We're going to need a pretty good run game. And we're going to need some good wide receivers. Or we're not going to go to the playoffs. And we're not going to win a Super Bowl. But if we have those things, we can win with Joe Flacco. Next, we have Kirk Cousins. Really good year. But it was only 1 year. I need to see more out of Kirk Cousins, considering the fact that he wasn't really good any year prior to this year. His rookie season, he was all right, but the junior season, last season, 2014, he wasn't very good. So I can't go out for 1 year and say, okay, Kirk Cousins is now a top 10 quarterback, and Matt Ryan fell off this year. Noticeably, he was just relying on Julio Jones too much for my liking, and I cannot put him in the top 10. Now, with that said, now let's get to the top 10. All right, let's get down to it. Number 10, we have Derek Carr. Now, you're going to say, what? Kirk Cousins played better than Derek Carr? I mean, I would disagree, but it's close. But here's the thing with Derek Carr. I can buy that he's now a top 10 quarterback, and he will be in 2016 and moving forward, considering the fact this is a guy that had 32 touchdowns, 13 interceptions in the 2015 NFL season. Yes, he had Amari Cooper, but Amari Cooper had his issues. Amari Cooper is not a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL right now. I don't care what anybody says. Now, he could be this season, may ascend to that role, but he still drops a lot of balls. He sometimes runs the wrong routes. He had Michael Crabtree. He turned Michael Crabtree. He had one of his best seasons ever. Michael Crabtree did with Derek Carr. Turned Seth Roberts into something. Turning these guys that really wouldn't have been that good. Amari Cooper would have been good. But like a Michael Crabtree, a Seth Roberts, a Michael Rivera, a Cliff Walford, turned these guys that really are not good weapons outside of Amari Cooper, and turned them into much better. Derek Carr did. Massive improvement. Top 10 quarterback now is Derek Carr. Number 9, we have Philip Rivers. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with this. Let me explain why. Philip Rivers is a guy that consistently has been the best player at his position for the San Diego Chargers for the past number of years. I mean, in terms of who is, not just the best player regardless of position for the San Diego Chargers. I mean, honestly, for the past, since LT left, he's been the best. And maybe Eric Weddle you can make a conversation for, but you're talking about they have a bad defense. It's getting better, but it's been a bad defense. A horrible defensive line. Running backs haven't been very good at all. Wide receivers have been okay. Keenan Allen's the best thing to be there for the past 5 years. He turns Michael Floyd into a good wide receiver. Now that Malcolm Floyd retired, he's gone, but it doesn't matter. Philip Rivers consistently turns his team, consistently rallies, leads his team to be much better than they're capable of being. Without Philip Rivers, this would have been an 0-16 team this year, and I absolutely believe that. To consistently have quarterback rating, passer ratings over 95, 93 every single year with his horrible supporting cast. So this is pretty bad. His left tackle is King Dunlap, and his right tackle, Joseph Barksdale. Who are these guys? Although Joe Barksdale did play well this season. I just had to put Philip Rivers in the top 10. I think he deserves, if you replace, who did I have that outside of the top 10? If you replace Philip Rivers, or you replace Eli Manning for Philip Rivers, the Giants are better. If you replace Andrew Luck with Philip Rivers, the Colts are better. If you replace Joe Flacco with Philip Rivers, the Ravens are better. These are better teams if they were to have Philip Rivers on their team. I just have a lot of respect for Philip Rivers. I don't think he's a top 5 quarterback, but I think he's number 9. He's number 9 for me. Number 8. We have Tony Romo. Yes, he was injured in 2015, but considering how well his 2014 season was, he deserves this respect. Because make no doubt about it, Tony Romo was the best quarterback in the NFL in 2014. Aaron Rodgers was really, really, really close, but man, I gotta give it to Tony Romo. Even though Aaron Rodgers won the MVP, I thought Tony Romo should have won the MVP, but because DeMarco Murray had such a really good season, that kind of took off of Tony Romo. But make no doubt about it, he had the highest pass rating in the NFL in 2014, had the highest QBR, in the NFL in 2014, and all he has is Dez Bryant. Because you guys still respect Jason Witten. I don't know why. This guy's old, this guy's slow, this guy's starting to drop everything from what I'm seeing. So considering the fact that Tony Romo only has Dez Bryant, only had Dez Bryant in 2014. I mean, Terrence Williams is a joke. Cole Beasley sucks. I don't know why people talk about these guys. And the fact that Tony Romo had that type of season with these guys, you got to give respect to Tony Romo, and he's number 8 here for me. Number 7, Carson Palmer. Yes, he chokes in the playoffs, but man, his last season was masterful. He was right up there with Cam Newton last season to be the best quarterback, to have the best quarterback season of 2015. That deserves huge respect. But he's not a top 5 quarterback to me because, number 1, it was really his best season ever, and it's really not even close. And number 2, he has a lot of weapons. Larry Fitzgerald, John Brown, Jaron Brown, no tight ends, a couple running backs, Chris Johnson, David Johnson, who ran the ball really well. Too many weapons for me, really explosive offense, but he deserves to be top 7. He's number 7 for me. Number 6, we have Drew Brees. I still have a lot of respect for Drew Brees. I mean, this is a guy that led the NFL in passing yards in 2015. You may say, well, the Saints suck. How can you put Drew Brees? If Drew Brees was not on the Saints, they wouldn't win a game. I don't think they'd win one game without Drew Brees at the quarterback helm. I mean, this is a guy, come on. If you replace all the guys under him, if you replace those guys with Drew Brees, their teams are so much better. Drew Brees has absolutely nothing. Marcus Colston sucks. Kenny Stills is a joke. Brandon Cooks is small. They traded Jimmy Graham. They got rid of Jimmy Graham for this guy. And despite all of this, Drew Brees still came to play. Yes, he can sometimes, maybe not play as great as you want him to in the fourth quarter, but he still has a Super Bowl ring on his finger. And he's a guy that I know if we're drafting all the quarterbacks next year, and you're telling me, okay, James, you're on the Tennessee Titans. We're having a fantasy draft. You have to pick a quarterback. This is the 6th one on my board because I trust Drew Brees to take me to the promised land. If you're telling me 1 year and 1 year only, this is a big thing. 1 year and 1 year only, rank the quarterbacks. This is what I'm ranking Drew Brees as number 6 for me. Number 5, I have Cam Newton. Really, really good 2015 NFL season. I mean, best quarterback, best player in the NFL. My only problem is it was only 2015. That's why he's only number 5. But this is higher than anyone thought Cam Newton was going to be if you would have asked me last season. Okay, what's Cam Newton? Is he going to be a top 10? I would have said no. I still would have said Cam Newton's not going to be a top 10 quarterback, but he's ascended to this point. Spectacular 2015. Not much to work with at all. As Kelvin Benjamin, his best wide receiver, was injured heading into the season. His best receiver was Ted Ginn and Corey Brown. He turned Greg Olsen into a 1,000-yard tight end, which was nice. But Greg Olsen is good in his own right. So, I mean, they just work well together. Running back, Jonathan Stewart isn't that good. Cam Newton, I think, makes him better by being such a big run threat himself. And he could ascend even past this point, but I can't put him ahead of the other guys yet. Number 4, Ben Roethlisberger. Didn't play that great in 2015, but 2014, he really turned into a really, really, really good quarterback, and I can't turn my back on that just yet. That's still resonating with me. For him to come out and to perform consistently as he does week in and week out, to be so explosive, really ascending into an elite quarterback. And this has been my problem with Ben Roethlisberger for maybe after they lost to the Packers for the next 3 years, 2011, 12, 13, he wasn't an elite quarterback. He's finally ascended to that path. And that is something I really want to see how he can perform in 2016 now that he's really ascended into that. Because I have Super Bowl expectations for the Steelers. I mean, I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl. I think it's close right now. I'm still deciding, but I have Super Bowl expectations. I expect Ben Roethlisberger to be at least in the AFC Championship in 2016. Next, we have Russell Wilson. Now, this is where I know a lot of people are going to have a problem with this. Now, if you've been following me for a while, and you probably have not, go back to the 2014 season. I used to rip Russell Wilson. I thought he was a game manager, and he was. The thing is about this, and people don't understand this is fluid. Things change, and things have changed. Russell Wilson has changed. He has become the absolute best player on the Seattle Seahawks. He's become the star of this football team. He's become the leader of this offense because it was him being a game manager, him relying on Marshawn Lynch, him relying on the defense. But this year, he ascended. This guy turned Doug Baldwin into a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL. Doug Baldwin sucks. And despite this, Doug Baldwin had like 14 touchdowns, 1,100 yards, mainly because Russell Wilson, who was finally, this guy had over 100 passer rating this season, had over 35 touchdowns, had like 5 touchdowns against the Minnesota Vikings. This guy was absolutely ripping teams to shreds in their secondaries. Absolutely ascending to a masterful position. And once Tom Brady retires, and we'll see what happens with Aaron Rodgers, it would not surprise me now if Russell Wilson becomes the best quarterback in the NFL in 5 years, or hell, 3 years, 2 years, 1 year. And I wouldn't be surprised he's finally ascending to that position. I've been very critical of him in the past, but you cannot deny that this guy is improving and improving quick. And of course he is, because he has the intelligence to do it, he has the drive to do it. He's continuing to do it. Russell Wilson is on the rise. All right, number 1 and number 2. I don't think you can even dispute this. Now, the order you can dispute, but these guys are number 1 and number 2, and that is Brady and Rodgers. Now, the question is, who's number 1 and who's number 2? That's the distinction. I think you have to put Aaron Rodgers number 1. I just think you have to do it. Although, if you want to put Tom Brady, that's close, and I can understand that. So first, let's talk about Tom Brady and why I think he's number 2. But come on. We're talking about number 1 versus number 2 here. Tom Brady. I really considered moving him to number 1 here. I really, really did, but this is where you have to look at these two guys, and you have to say, look at the past 5 years. Look at the past 5-year window, because Tom Brady had a bad 2013 season, right? And everyone wanted to say, oh my God, what's going on with the Patriots? And then even a bad start to the 2014 season, they lost to the Chiefs, blah, blah, blah. Tom Brady's done, blah, blah, blah. So Tom Brady's had his lower points. Aaron Rodgers had a lower point like this last year. And we forgave and we moved on quickly from Brady. I'm going to move on quickly from Aaron Rodgers. I think he's still just the best quarterback in the NFL. And if you're telling me, pick one quarterback. Next year, who's your quarterback? This is your quarterback to ride. I'm picking Aaron Rodgers over Tom Brady. But it's so close. And Aaron Rodgers last year, his offensive line wasn't very good. Although Tom Brady's offensive line isn't very good either. It's really close. But considering the youth of Aaron Rodgers, considering his ability to be able to move out of the pocket, to make extra plays, to throw a ridiculous Hail Mary. What a play. Tom Brady, he's such a master of the game in terms of calculating, in terms of reading defensive, blah, blah, blah. You're never going to see a really big highlight from Tom Brady. You're never really going to see it. You might see a nice pass, over the seam, and then Rob Gronkowski bully some guys. And Tom Brady's great. But Aaron Rodgers has the ability to make throws where you just say, wow. And I haven't seen Tom Brady make those throws lately. He's still great. He's still number 2. But when it comes to the ability to just be godlike, it's Aaron Rodgers. And he proved it twice with the 2 Hail Marys this season, once against the Arizona Cardinals and once against the Detroit Lions. He still has that godlike ability. When you combine that with his ability to actually run a little bit too, it's just Aaron Rodgers. But it's still really, really close. There you go. All right, so there you go. There's my top 10 quarterbacks. They're all in the description box below for you guys to see. And until next time, James Carter TV, I'm out. Peace.